Good evening. I am Alicia Anspaugh, and this is the Tuesday wrong background, apparently. Yeah, you can tell I was definitely prepared to do this tonight because I was literally just watching TV and, come on, show. Oh, yeah, great technical issues going on right now. But I do have a couple of guests backstage that can maybe help with this. And let's go ahead and start by adding Hallie and Dennis to the stage. Welcome, behalf of each of you.
Dennis, we can't hear you.
Well, we can hear you, but you're very quiet.
Oh, I'm sorry. Oh boy. Lots and lots of things to try and get figured out here. Hallie, you are not on the screen, but Doc is.
Hello.
So, I got more people back here. And also we have Earl Williams. Earl, an artist. Oh, and that's much better, Hallie and Doc.
Good evening.
And good evening, Earl. So, give me 1 second here because I also.
Hallie and Dennis, can you hear me okay?
Yeah, I can hear you just fine.
I can. It's not very loud, but we can hear you.
Okay. Bump up your volume on your either PC or laptop. Just bump up your volume a bit.
How's that?
No, it's not on your end there, Dennis. It's on their end.
Yeah. Turn up your volume. You might actually find volume in your keyboard.
Well, let me turn it up.
See, are you on a laptop?
There we go.
Now, let me turn mine down.
No, there we go.
Okay. Now you're good.
All right. And also backstage, I'm used to seeing this guy wearing glasses. Hi, Matt. Are you? I was about to say, are you eating or something? I could put you backstage. If you...
Got done eating.
I just got interrupted eating.
Chicken cordon bleu.
Yeah, I mean, otherwise, I was watching the boys on Amazon, and wife climbs out of the shower. She's like, "Can you go on?" I'm like, "Eating, boys." Oy vey. Anyway, so I guess tonight it's all about infighting and power games in the metaphysical community.
I'm gonna go get a hair up this community. Yes, Einstein here.
Oh, hey, you're
Oh,
we're just gonna censor that out, maybe.
What?
So, oh, hey, you're here.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
By the way, Doc, Hallie, something I've not had a chance to ask you yet. Are you pro dog or anti cat?
oh God.
I don't know if I'm either.
I'm both.
Well,
Just say pro dog. Just say pro dog. That's what he wants to hear.
Yeah, I've got two
No, I
cats.
got one of each. Well, I got several of each. So
I have neither, but I'm allergic to cats, but I like dogs.
that's okay. My wife's also allergic to
I
cats.
was gonna say I'm allergic to cats.
Earl, what did you say? Oh, that's a dog. Okay.
Mommy!
All right, I don't have to kick you from the stream.
Oh God.
So, anyway, I'm going to go back to eating.
All
I'm
right.
going to
Come on
let my
out.
wife. Oh, by the way.
Oh, not at me,
right
dude.
here.
Thanks, baby. Cool.
So, all right.
You're on camera. Look.
Whoa.
There
Oh,
we go.
yeah. Here, hold on. There we go.
Hey,
All right.
can you change that to
I was working on it.
Okay.
Yeah, in your side panel there, Dennis, under background.
Well, no, not. It's what you're seeing here is the background in the back of the picture here. I have to. I'm going to do this. You two talk amongst yourselves real quick.
Okay. Well, while he's getting the backdrop changed, I'll be kind of assisting them with StreamYard here. So,
All right.
basically what I use too is I'm the owner and host of Pagan Artist Spotlight up here in Waterloo. I also do internet radio, and plus I'm a live DJ too. So,
Oh, very nice.
You're going with a green screen tonight.
Go ahead, baby.
I'm not messing with it. I'm out.
Oh, did you get the link sent to everybody? Hi, guys.
Oh,
Late customer, didn't buy anything, made everything else run late.
that happens.
So, have you guys already gone around and introduced yourself?
We have.
Hang on. Hi, Matt.
There we go. I show one cat and he freaking kicks me out. I guess he must not need me tonight, right?
You two can talk amongst yourselves when you get a chance.
I'm gonna be having a talk with him.
But okay, everybody's introduced. Did I get that right?
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. All right. Hallie, Doc, your mic sounds a little bit muffled.
Maybe we're too close. That better?
No, not really.
No.
Okay,
No.
Hallie and Dennis, are you on a laptop by chance?
No, we're on the phone.
Oh, on your phone. That explains it.
Did I need to get a laptop?
Well, no, you should be fine. You're sounding fine to me. So
Okay.
All right.
But all that matters is it's okay with you.
sometimes the phone connection on StreamYard isn't the best in the world, but it works.
Okay.
I can get a laptop if we need to.
That's okay. Just go with what you've got. Okay. Okay, guys. Simone is out. She's got a horrible migraine. But I want you guys to kind of tell us how long you've been working within the metaphysical, occult, pagan, paranormal, basically these fringe sciencey fields. I want the viewers to know what it is, how long it is, how much experience you have, and maybe how things have changed. Because tonight, yes, it is about covering some of the infighting and the power games and the cliquishness and the bullshit. I don't have a bleeper and I have a long history in customer service. So you know what? It's just going to have to happen. But basically, I have a lot of people coming to me saying, hey, I'm trying to start on this journey. I'm trying to find my gifts. And I keep running into this stuff, even other vendors, some show promoters. And they're running up against a lot of this. And there are a lot more problems. And it's at least nationwide from what I can see, from what I can tell.
Yeah, it is.
So
Unfortunately.
I want you to maybe pass on a few situations you've gone through. Don't name any names because we don't want to slander anybody. But be honest and let them know maybe some of the ways you've handled it and some tips for them. Not just clients and patrons, but also vendors, also show promoters, because it's happening across the board.
Well, I've been professionally 14 years, been involved in the metaphysical world for probably 30 years. And I agree. It seems like it's universally an issue wherever you go, that it seems like you're always going to find at least one or two vendors who for whatever reason, they don't like your looks, they don't like your energy, they don't like something about you, and they'll do what they can to make you uncomfortable at a show. And you know, personally, I've just kind of, if you walk past them, if you have to walk past that particular vendor, you just put up a little shield and reflect back to the absorb that energy, try to transmute any energy that they send towards you. I have a kind of a thing where I just kind of make my aura kind of concave, so when it hits it, it sends it right back to them. But these are some of the things that unfortunately we can't. I don't know of a way of avoiding them, but I understand newbies. They come into it thinking, "Oh, this is all love and light," and finding out that it's anything far from that.
Okay. Am I the only person that's run into this where all of a sudden a whole group of dumbasses decide to gang up together, tell lies, recruit people to hate you, and decide to be a collective pain in your ass? Thank you, Earl.
Yeah.
Oh, Matt. Oh. And the other thing is, you know, I mean, I've always been one to, I don't ask for a seat at anybody's table, and I definitely don't beg. I'll go make my own table. But that just seems to get more hate. It's like, wouldn't you enjoy it more if I just left?
No, am I coming through?
Yeah, Matt, you're good.
Making sure my mic was working. And they think it's love and light, and then they get in the industry, and then they find out that it's even more cutthroat in the music industry.
Yeah, I know, right?
But same.
It doesn't seem like anybody wants to work collectively anymore, and everybody claims para-unity, but then nobody displays it.
No, that's true. That's very true.
This is why I've stepped back from the field.
But it seem to have gotten worse within the last, I'd say, probably about a year after COVID.
Yeah.
I think so, yes. Yeah, absolutely.
I noticed shortly after we lost the school now, and we've been out of the school now for over 6 years.
Okay.
Yep.
So,
you know, one of the things that, for me, I think part of it, at least from my perspective, TV and Hollywood have done a huge disservice to the metaphysical community.
Yeah.
People see these online psychics, these TV psychics. They know everything. They know your every thought. They can do everything. And people get into the industry, and that's who they want to be like. And it just ain't so.
well, I was going to say it's both done harm and good. It's been a double-edged sword for the industry because while it has brought a crackpot and fool out that wants to think or thinks that they can do this, it also has brought a little bit of less of a stigmatism. It's kind of brought it more into the mainstream. It's more acceptable for people to talk about now and get help. But I think it's just like anything. The internet, people say the internet's ruining society. It is, because it's both good and bad. It can be used for good, and it can be used to tear somebody down. So, I mean, it's just a matter of how it's used.
That's true.
In my opinion.
And the online bullying is getting worse. I mean, it's all throughout all the crystal groups.
Oh, yeah, it is.
Bird watching groups. I got a friend, she does book publishing, and she's also part of these bird watching groups. Holy God. She's like, no, Alicia, you don't understand. People are just tearing anybody apart who even asks a question. I'm like, bird watching? So, but I also have a lot of people who come to me, and these ones are just clients and patrons, and they're like, you know, we went around looking for different communities, and it all seemed to be about power plays, you know. And I always say School of Power, School of Power, School of Enlightenment. You can always tell who is who. You know, School of Power is all about being a big fish in a little pond. School of Enlightenment is like, hey, everybody should know it. Boom, there you go. Bye-bye. I'm gone. You know, that kind of thing. And what a lot of my clients are running into, and this is from all states, because I get a lot of tourists through, they're just like, yeah, we're not getting any good feedback. They walk into a place going, hey, you know, I might need some guidance. I might need some mentorship. And all they're getting is this.
Yep. And Alicia, you know most of the stuff I've been through.
Earl, wait till we sit down and have a cup of coffee sometime. I could do an entire 2.5 hour show all on the crap that's been going on over on my end.
Yeah.
By the way, apparently we are the only ones joining us.
Yeah. Basically, when I first came into this in 2003, I was in a different area. I was not here in Iowa. And the area comprised of 2 major groups. Well, they were working just fine together up until somebody got on a power trip, which basically split the 2 groups and wound up having a big rift. And it got to the point where I even got told that I had to choose sides. I'm like, oh, hell no.
No.
Hell no.
I'm leaving.
That's not how I operate. And I formed my own group. And even back then, people did not. There were a couple of groups that did not want unity whatsoever. They would do everything possible to eliminate unity. And it finally got to the point where I just said, "Okay, heck with you," and shunned everybody and did my own thing.
And that's honestly what I've been doing, and what I've advised people to do. I know a few people that I'll send someone to, but it's gotten really bad, even among the vendors, the readers, everything. It's just
and most of the vendors that you and I have dealt with have always been pretty decent to each other.
Actually, that's going downhill too. I was very, very shocked. Some of the old guard mainstays, I'm just like, what are you doing? But it's like everybody's mind has just become darkened, I guess. That would.
It's the times we live in. It's the energies that are in the air nowadays. Me as an empath, I wake up most mornings, and I wake up angry. And it's not my anger. I can tell it's not my anger. But for whatever reason, as an empath, as I sleep, it has a tendency to gather around me. And then when I wake up and become conscious, it just kind of hits me like a 2-ton brick. And I have to discharge it. And I have to do it responsibly, because you just can't go around discharging that kind of shit just everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
Have you tried transmuting it? I know we talked about lighting up black candles while you sleep. You can't keep the cat.
Yeah, no, and as an energy worker, not a light worker, I can do that. But I tell you what, that's a hell of a lot harder energy to transmute and discharge than it is positive.
No, I absolutely know that.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
Sleep on selenite.
I don't know if anybody else has noticed that or not, but I just here the last few years, especially, have been really bad when I wake up.
Oh yeah, I've been there myself. I'm an empath, and I've had this happen many times.
Hallie, darling,
have you tried sleeping on selenite? Because it'll automatically transmute all of that negative energy and give it back to you in a positive manner.
Sometimes even selenite doesn't work. When you're in an area that's it's heavy toxicity, and our ley lines here are a little bit messed up. They went south.
Where are you guys at, Holly and Dennis? Are you guys in Iowa?
No, they're not.
Well, she's in Omaha and I'm in Kansas City.
Okay.
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 Now,
Iowa particularly is really bad. I mean, me and Alicia were talking about this the other day. When I used to make our regular trips up north when we had our car, you could get 50 miles outside of the city limits and just kind of feel that heaviness lift.
It stretched out to 60. That's actually why I was so glad. Now, Hallie, you still have your shop, right?
No,
Oh, really?
Des Moines is horrendous.
What is that smile about? What happened? Are you okay?
We had black mold.
I'm not. That's something that I need to look at because I've not really paid attention to the ley lines coming through Iowa. But
get yourself a map, get yourself a pendulum. That's the most reliable thing I can tell you. Figure out which way is yes and no on your pendulum, and then douse the lines. The last time I did it was about 2 years ago.
And I know there's a major hub that runs through the northwestern part of Iowa, up where we had the school. Our school set almost a wagon wheel hub of ley lines up there.
Most of the ley lines have been soured here, and then me, another energy worker, and another friend, we've all been trying to get it kind of switched back. So
there's no pushback, really.
You can do it. I mean, even the Lakota tribes, they would hold ceremonial dances and stuff like that. Of course, I don't see anybody in the community coming together to do a 50-person dance on top of a line or a node, but it would be nice.
Well, that's just it. There's nobody doing that kind of stuff, and on top of it, they're still propagating that negativity. So not only are they not doing anything about it, but then they're continuing to make the problem worse.
Yep.
Well, Patty and I have talked about this quite a bit. With the Earth energies ascending, there are a good number of people who simply cannot hang with these new energies.
Yeah.
And part of what they need, they're trying to do is pull everything back to the way it was. And I think that propagates that negativity. That keeps us all in a if you will, an eddy of negative energy that's difficult to get out of. If we can keep ourselves fixed on working with those earth energies, I think we can kind of buffer all this negativity in the community.
So, Dennis, you guys have noticed then the shifts happening too, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. These shifts, and I didn't even realize it until Kelly Steffen out of Marshalltown, really good friend and colleague. She said something about it the other day, and it didn't really ring true until she said something, because when these shifts happen, they're acting the exact opposite of what they normally would act. They hang around people they wouldn't normally hang around. They're saying opposite things that they would normally do. If they're nice, then they turn mean, or if they're normally mean, then they turn nice. It's almost like the exact opposite spectrum with these shifts. Shifts happen, and then once the shift kind of dies down and the energies kind of dissipate a bit from the shift, things kind of go back to normal a little bit, but things still aren't quite the same because those energies have now shifted.
Right. Yeah. And we've noticed that the inordinate number of individuals who are choosing to leave the earth either by suicide, car accident, whatever it might be, the number of car accidents, auto fatalities is up, the number of suicides is up. And these, I think these are the individuals, like we talked, they can't deal with it. So rather than try to figure it out, they're just checking out.
So what advice would you give, I guess, Doc, Hallie, Earl, Matt, what advice would you give to somebody who's having a hard time transitioning into a new energy? I mean, I spoke a little bit about this on the Soul Contracts episode, but what advice would you give them on how to handle it instead of just going, nope, I'm done, and yeeting themselves into the void? What would you say?
Don't be afraid to look into the metaphysical reasons. Don't be afraid to look into the non-existent, or quote unquote, I use quotations here very loosely, the non-tangible shit. Don't be afraid to make that jump. Because if you can make that jump and then shit starts to click, then you're usually on the right path. And if shit's clicking, then you should probably continue to at least explore that.
Yep. And plus also having open, honest discussions and in a civil manner. That's also what needs to be done. People need to learn to communicate, and in a good way. That's what we're missing right now in the community, is people learning how to frickin' communicate.
Without ego, without insecurity, without power bullshit. Okay, go ahead.
Well, without unhealthy ego, let's go ahead and address that real quick while you brought that up.
Healthy ego is one thing, dude. False pride.
It is healthy to have some ego, but you've got to keep that in check. It's one of those slippery ass slopes that people have a hard time keeping their balance on.
Okay, Hallie, Doc, I don't know about you guys out there. You can't swing a dead cat. Sorry, I apologize for anybody who has cats. You can't swing a dead cat without hitting a New Age shop or a New Age fair. Everybody and their brother has one. But here's the deal. Every time anybody opens up a New Age shop, all of a sudden it's like a title. They're a king or a queen. And even Nicole and I have noticed this with a couple of people we used to be really good friends with, or at least acquaintances, and they got all weird and we're just like, she's like, what the? And I'm like, you know what? The world's going to kick their ass.
Those are people that aren't adjusting.
Leave.
Those are people that aren't adjusting to the new energies well.
You address that.
As you know, you open
a cat.
You
Can't be a dog. Why's got to be a cat?
What I would say for the people who can't deal with the energy, what I've noticed, especially through giving readings, is that they're not in contact with themselves and they're not in contact with spirit, and they need to meditate. And with that, their energy will rise along with the other energies, and they're not going to have a problem, but they refuse to do anything for themselves.
Yeah, it's almost like a spiritual practice is lacking in these individuals, and they've got to have one.
I put out something on Facebook the other day.
Hell, what was it?
It's kind of funny that you mentioned that, Holly, about the
just recently, I
because
had someone
I put out something
come at me and basically trying to label me as Hades.
Oh, Jesus.
And I'm like, lady, I am Hades. I'm friends with him. Thank you. Appreciate it. She didn't know what to say after that one.
You know, one of the first principal tenets, everybody asks me, what are the rules to the New Age? And I'm like, the first, foremost, and probably the biggest rule is don't be a twat. And so many people in this area are really violating that rule. Twatopotamus. And I just don't get it.
Well, it's funny that Holly brought up the whole energy vibration, because I just shared a thing on Facebook the other day about, signs that of a higher vibration, a person of higher vibration, and they can't be around toxic people. Just stuff like that. I can't remember everything on it, but it's kind of funny that she touched on the vibration part of it, when that's really what it is. If you're vibrating at a higher frequency,
mm-hmm.
and somebody's vibrating at a lower frequency with a negative, then obviously those aren't going to mesh.
No, actually, that's exactly what I tell my clients. I say, you can't be white light all the time. Obviously, we're humans, but try and make your environment
balance,
as high vibe as possible. Simply
or some people don't operate well at a high vibration. I personally don't operate at it very well at a high vibration. I have to be kind of in the middle.
I always say it's like freshwater and saltwater fish. And I use the negative entities as saltwater and the high vibe as freshwater. If you drop a saltwater fish in freshwater, they're not going to do well. If you drop a freshwater fish in saltwater, they're not going to do well. And that's kind of how people seem to get that really fast.
Yep.
And the interesting thing is that someone with a high vibration has a tendency to make someone with a low vibration very uncomfortable.
Yep.
And they react to that.
Therefore, you get the attacks, you get the blocking, you get the smear campaigns. Yeah, they're reacting to your higher vibration. And to be honest, what I have taken away from my experience, I've done this for almost 9 years professionally. And what I've taken away is this is something that I need to learn. This is a lesson for me. And I've hired these people to do this for me. And they're doing their job very, very well because they keep coming at me and they keep coming at me. And so I'm having to find very creative ways of protecting myself and while allowing myself to learn the lesson that I need to learn from it.
Hallie, I feel you on a spiritual level, baby doll. Seriously, oh my God! One of these days, we're gonna have to sit down and have coffee. You like coffee?
And I would like to expand a little bit more on that, because it's not just about the lessons that you have to learn, Holly, but there's lessons on the opposite side of that scale that person is taking away from it too.
I'm not worried about their lesson.
Yeah, it's not our lesson.
It's not my lesson, right? I'm just taking.
But how we interact with them kind of affects that, don't you think?
You can affect that, but if you are learning the lesson that you asked to learn, you don't have to worry about their part.
Well, just being practical, y'all. If I'm drowning, I'm going to concentrate on getting my own ass to shore first. Okay.
Right.
I get that, Alicia. You know. Oh hell! I just shut down. Really? Are you fucking kidding me?
You okay?
I just shut down. I'm gonna be shutting down. I'll try to get back on.
Okay.
Something that I was going to address here with Nicole. The networking does not seem to be working or wanted. Now, Nicole, I do a lot of business networking. I've been doing that for the last couple of years now. And networking does work to a point. And yeah, it is needed in the community. It really is. And the one thing that I see that kind of ties things together is basically our artists in the community who are creating positive energy with all their music and stuff that they're doing. And they're trying their best to keep things together and by what they're doing. But it's going to take us to help with that.
I was going to say, especially at least from what I'm seeing down in Des Moines and in some of the outlying areas, CR is another one, Cedar Rapids, there is no such thing as networking unless the people networking are hating on another one. And that's something I'm shocked at because I don't know if you guys remember, Hallie, Doc, maybe you don't, the Atlantean, Morning Light, places like that. You guys remember those places?
Not at all.
Okay. The old school stuff, I mean, man, I miss Morning Light. I could literally get on the phone and call her and say, hey, my client's looking for a rider-waite. I have none in stock. Oh, yeah. Okay. And I send them on over. And then she'll call me up maybe a couple days later and say, hey, I don't have any emeralds in stock. You got any? I'm like, yeah. And then she sends her client over. And we just do that back and forth. It was awesome. I loved it.
Well, when we did the one fair we did in Kansas City, we offered to put people on the back of our flyer as far as advertisements, other fair owners, other shops. Do you know how many times we got turned down?
Oh, I can imagine. About the same amount?
It's like, why would you do that? We're giving you free advertising.
Yep.
But the thing is time and time again, they'd say, well, what do you want? Nothing. We want nothing.
We want nothing.
We don't want
we're just trying to increase the information in the community and let people know about the other stores, other communities that are going on.
Well, if you'd phoned me up and asked, I would have said yes in a heartbeat. No, I was really bummed that I missed your fair, but we just had no money at that point to do any shows, period. Plus, Dennis was working his butt off just trying to get our bills caught up and everything. That was a wild ride.
Yeah.
The one thing that I've been involved in for the last year now is I'm actually involved with the new magazine for the community called Today's Witch. And one of the separate books that we created is a Traveler's Companion, which lists every single metaphysical and apothecary shop across the United States. And
how do I get an ad in that?
We're listing all those for free.
How do I get an ad in that?
Well, that can be done, dear.
All right.
And,
hang on, I got a panelist.
Basically, I mean, we've done a lot for people. We've done a lot for people for free, and granted, now we're having to charge for it, but times changed a little bit. But we are succeeding in at least trying to work with all these metaphysical stores, and that way we can get the most information out there to everybody.
Yeah, we need more people like that. More people doing that in all the big cities, because there just isn't enough information.
Yeah.
You know, I can remember years ago, before I started doing reading professionally, here in Kansas City, there probably were a half a dozen individuals putting out flyers or little pamphlets, newspapers once a month. I knew a guy that did something about witchcraft. He taught witchcraft. He put out information about it, what it was, what it wasn't. People were putting out information, and the interesting thing was everybody got along because of that.
Yeah.
Now you put something out and 500 people are going, no, you're wrong.
You're wrong. That's
not only
not the
know
way
you're wrong, but then they start hexing you.
Yeah.
Like that. Yeah.
Yeah.
I had one actually create 4 different Google Chrome accounts just to leave 4 really horrible, stupid reviews. I'm like, are you okay? I mean, what? No, it's been like,
hey, I've been cursed by a dead woman, so you know.
Been there, done that. Yeah, it's
this woman that keeps chasing me around.
You guys know about that new shop that opened up? Let's see, what was it, last year? Right smack dab in the center of Missouri.
Which one?
Enchanting Winds, I think, is what the name of it is.
What is it?
Enchanting Winds, I think, is the name of it.
No, I haven't heard of it.
that one. Do you know what city?
Yeah, they're right smack dab in the center. We helped promote them when they first opened up.
But what city?
No, give me a second. I'll get it for you.
no worries. Nicole, they think one quick done spell by someone else will make everything align. Yeah, that's true too. Twatopotamus.
Well, you know, there are so many people that get into the business, and they're what I call 90-day wonders or weekend wonders. They take a class somewhere, and now all of a sudden they're experts in everything, and they're the dumbest shits that ever walked into a fair room. They don't know squat.
Mm-hmm.
But they believe that they do because so-and-so told them. They paid money to be told this is the way it is.
That's okay. Wait till you get to the people who decide that they can do negative entity clearings after whatever, an online course. There's been a lot of cleanup. The energy worker that works through my shop, she's had to do a lot of cleanup, most of it pro bono, because the people are already on their knees.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's great. Always fun.
There's just so many people out there trying to make a quick buck by telling people, oh, if you'll just do ABC, you'll get rid of negative energies who have had no experience, know nothing about it, and yet after 24 hours or 2 days of 4 hours of a class, Now all of a sudden they're experts. And Hallie and I, we run into these people all the time.
Yeah. Anybody who is a professional now, the people that are more underhanded, I've watched them take advantage of these people, and they ride them hard.
That one is in Clinton,
Missouri?
Clinton, Missouri. Well, we go through there on the way to the Springfield, Missouri Fair. Have to stop there, and it's called the Enchanted Wiz.
Enchanting Winds.
The Enchanting Wiz. Winds. Oh, Winds. Okay.
Yep. And it's on East Ohio Street.
Okay. We'll have to take a look at that. We'll probably get kicked out, but we'll take a look at it.
Oh, you know.
Nah, you won't get kicked out. Just tell them I sent you.
Okay.
They know me.
Are you sure that won't get us kicked out?
Oh, God. Well, and the other thing I don't like is, and back to the everybody and their cat has a new age shop. A lot of the shops that are popping up are only designed to make a quick buck. Some of my clients have gone in there and they're like, oh, well, what does rose quartz mean? I don't know. Google it. It's like,
yeah.
And they do treat the clientele like they're foolish. They kind of laugh at them, which makes it hard for all the rest of the new age shops that actually are new age shops. They know what they're talking about. You come to them for guidance, counseling, and mentoring. It makes it hard when they have 6 things of this. Google it. Oh, I don't care. What are you buying this for? It's like, okay. So a lot of people do get into it now because it's trendy. It makes a fast buck, and the clientele are supposedly dumb.
Yeah,
that's the wrong mindset.
Well, it certainly is.
Oh, yeah, but I am watching that, and it's just like, what are you guys doing? I mean, I know it's a fad, and they'll be on to the next get-rich-quick scheme in no time, but the people that have been working in it for, say, I don't know, 13 years or so, it kind of, we get the backlash for it.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, we don't need to do that. Go sell used cars or something. The used car market is really hopping.
Well, I know that one thing I am going to wind up doing at the next event that I'll be getting into, hopefully either in Des Moines or the next one in Marshalltown, because all the vendors I dealt with in Marshalltown, they were really good. And we all communicated together, and plus they were loving the music that I was playing because I was using the same playlist that I used down there in Des Moines. So,
yeah, having that upbeat, energetic music at a psychic fair instead of the really slow stuff, especially for a vendor, it helps you keep moving, and you don't just want to pass out at the end of the day. But I wanted to ask you guys, have you ever experienced this? You walk into a completely new field or a new area that you haven't done any shows in, you really don't have any reputation in, and everybody is basically sneering at you from the start. But once you open your mouth and start talking, and actually they see you in action, they're like, oh my God, hey, hi. And you're like, fuck. Okay, have you guys ever had that happen, and how do you deal with that? And free range, believe me, once you get into some of the nastier clearings, and I do mean the really bad ones, you will definitely want to charge because of the hazard risk.
Yeah, well, and it's a energy exchange too. Well, I know for me, going into a new fair, I always have people, and yeah, they do sneer at me, and okay, fine, whatever. I had that my whole life, go for it. But 9 times out of 10, all of those people around me are getting readings from me.
And that's what I mean. I mean, I know how I've broken it in the past, but I've been very, very surprised at it because I've had no interaction with these people beforehand, and it was like the entire thing. And I'm like, what? So how do you guys, I guess, break the back of that? It's like somebody ran a sales job on you. Do you guys know the metaphor of sales job?
No.
Okay, basically somebody told a bunch of nasty stories about you and convinced everybody you were buttholes, and then everybody decided to believe it.
Oh, well, that happens all the time. Yeah.
So,
But
here's the thing: I don't want to make friends with these people. That's not what I'm there for.
It's not about making friends.
No.
It's about actually turning that energy around. How do you guys do it?
For me, I just take the perception of screw you and what you wrote in.
You know what I do though is I pull in as much universal energy as I can and make myself as bright and shiny as I can.
Okay.
And that way, whatever they say or whatever they do cannot affect me.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Earl?
And, you know, when I'm getting into a new area and I start speaking about the knowledge that I have and the years of experience that I have in the community, people do start listening.
Okay.
Because they may not know me, but once I start speaking and explaining my looks and my views on things, then people start listening.
Sure. And Holly had a point, you know, when you go into a fair, the only people that I'm there to influence and make friends with are the clients that I read for. If by the end of the 2-day fair, I make friends with some of the other readers, that's a bonus.
That's true.
But my job is to be with the client, is to be with the public.
Okay. And I'm not just talking about other readers. I'm talking about the fair organizers themselves.
Oh, yeah.
They don't know you. And it's like, you don't know me from Adam.
No, I don't know if I've run into that.
I don't think so.
Most of the people
Hallie, Doc, do you guys have microphones? Because you're fading out.
No.
I want to hear what you guys have to say. Nicole, no one can never know why every stone-eyed or what they're off top of their mind, but make an effort to know what you got if you're trying to find homes for it. Okay.
Also,
that's a good point.
I'm the organizer for March FY. Awesome. Hi. Hey, make sure you send me a thing about the next Marshall Town.
Free range.
I know I need to live, but I can't really walk away or turn away someone in need. What if they're dirt poor? If they can't afford it, if they can afford it, great. If not, I'm still going to help them. Well, yeah, obviously.
Yeah.
It's a ridiculous amount of pro bono work I do through the shop, and the same thing with my energy work or spiral healing. So much pro bono. Yeah. So pro bono work is a thing, but there is a line. So, yeah.
I won't charge for paranormal side of things because it adds a predatory aspect to it. And I can't guarantee what we're going to do is going to fix your problem. But you know what I'm saying? When you're not dealing in tangible goods like you do, you know, you have tangible goods at the shop. We do not.
Some of the cases I've seen,
our work is strictly, you know, a belief basis thing, you know?
Yeah, that is true.
With my services, basically I would do like a free will offering. I mean, that is the way that I would approach it. Because that tends to go over better than charging. Because especially like with what I do, doing the music, doing the podcasting, the radio, everything. It's to me, it's all about community, and getting a free will offering is a hell of a lot better.
And it also depends on where you're living at. I know one set of, they're rock vendors, and the guy, he's a energy worker, and he makes bank on house clearings, Reiki sessions, everything like that. But he's built a reputation and he stood firm on his boundaries simply because he knows what he can bring home. He knows if he even slips a little bit, he knows the danger. And he doesn't want to bring that to his family, hell, himself, his neighbors, his neighbors' kids. So it's a very dangerous process. And if you're not in the right headspace.
I'm kind of taking that on selflessly and kind of, I don't know. This is one of those things I've kind of just taken on. I would like to touch on something that you guys mentioned before I lost my connection again, and I apologize. I'm still at 3%, but we're pushing through.
Okay.
When you're doing events and you're doing things like that, be careful. Be careful on who you have come through. And I can speak on this one from personal attest. From the school, we did an event up there, September of 2018.
Yeah.
And we had a couple people come through there that were, we'll say, better known in the community.
Yeah.
And every single person that was there almost came up to me at one point in the night and was like, "Have you felt such and such energies? I can't even walk 2 feet behind her at the staircase." It was an individual and his mother.
Okay.
We'll say that. I think people might know who I'm talking about. They use a certain box to do sessions with.
Anyway, keep going.
The energies that they had with them were just crazy insane. And I had almost everybody that was there at the event that night come up and at least say something to me about it. And then I had to deal with repercussions at the building for at least the next 2 to 3 weeks after that. With the energies being off, the entities that were there were not happy about what this individual drove with them. I think that they had with them.
Yep.
I physically got pushed down the hall about a week after the event. Physically, I felt 2 handprints, and Chris Hughes, he was there that night. He saw me. He saw the light. He saw the light flip up in the air, and then he saw me go flying about 5 feet that direction from my back. It was a physical push. It was the only time I've ever been physically touched in the school. Was that event. But yeah, no, it was a whole thing. So please just be cautious if you're trying to line up events. Make sure that the people that you're interacting with are of true heart, at least good intentions, that kind of thing.
And when I do the bigger fairs or the smaller fairs, I always give everybody a chance, except for some of the ones that they seem like a problem. I kind of slip around them. But I have found one thing that's really interesting about the events. The happier I make the event, the more the people that are not good for it just drop out. They just leave. They're like, "We don't want our money back. We don't want anything. We're not coming." I'm like, "Thank you for the donation. Bye-bye."
See ya. Don't let the door hit you.
Well, yeah, okay. There was another one. Actually, there were a couple. They just stayed one day. No, we don't want to come back. I'm like, and when I walked past their booth, I felt, and Matt, I'm an empath too. I felt just this horrible, oh my God, I'm not good enough. Oh, why are we here? And I'm like, wait a minute. And then I looked, and their booth is right there, and it's a really pretty booth. It didn't have all the big trappings or anything, but it's a pretty booth, and they've got quality stuff. But that was their vibe.
Mm-hmm. Well, Hallie and I found with our fair, when we set the bar, when we set the level of vibration, people who really took to it were happy to be there. Exactly. And the ones that didn't, they were unhappy. They didn't do it. They didn't do as well.
Right.
So we have to set the bar.
Yeah. As fair promoters, event coordinators, whatever you want to call it. Yeah, you have to set the bar.
Exactly.
Free range hippie. The idea of a free will offering is close to what I do. Sometimes they come mow my lawn or do a house repair. I think it's a good idea, a little good deal. I'd have to pay for those services. So it's basically cutting out the middleman of money exchange. And hey, free range, that's awesome for you. That is great. I'm glad you feel that way. You know, everybody is welcome to their own differing opinion.
That's what I think we should
my opinion on money, and this is something I have learned. You can be the best, most amazing reader in the world. You can give out all the free readings. Problem is, you still have to eat at the end of the day. And if you can't eat, you won't be doing those readings, or you'll only be doing them some of the time. And if I want to be a reader,
you'll be working for Walmart.
What?
You'll be working for Walmart.
Yeah, and that's not the kind of vibe you want on a reader. Oh, dear God.
Welcome to Walmart.
Oh, God. That's so depressing when you say that. Anyway, our vendors do have to pass a vibe check, and if they're really new, we ask them to give a test reading to one of us. Yeah, and test readings are great. I dropped the idea of test readings because, as I say, the really nasty ones filter themselves out. I'm just like, whoa, didn't know that was happening. Yay, my angels are working overtime. Because, you know, every fair I put on, big or small, I always want to make sure that all the patrons and clients actually have good people to go to. And it was one of the things I really prided myself on, is that almost everybody at the fair, Hallie and Doc know this. Earl knows this. Matt knows this. Any patron can walk up to you guys and say, hey, you know, I need your advice on this. And you guys will be like, okay, sure. Now, if it's a rash, you need to go to your doctor. But, you know, everybody knows this. Because that's what it has to be. You know, it has to be that way.
Mm-hmm.
Otherwise, you're doing the area a disservice, in my point of view.
I feel like I know Free Range Hippie.
She's the Marshalltown events coordinator.
Okay. So she probably knows Kelly Steffen then.
Okay. Free range. Were you at the Metaphysical Fair that I was at there in Marshalltown last year?
Get that.
Are you talking about Kelly's annual event? Or no, that was 2 years ago.
This was a new one. This was a totally new one that got put on last year. It was at the fairgrounds.
You know the one I was talking about, right? The one that was at the campgrounds a few years back that Kelly put on that had the Fire in the Sky guys?
Yeah, I think I remember that one.
That was actually epic because the Fire in the Sky guys had never done an interview together except for that one in history.
Nice. As I know that the one thing that has been a tendency for most of the pagan prides around here in Iowa is that we always wind up with having the Brotherhood of Steel, and I love those guys.
Unfortunately, I guess they disbanded and went under another name.
Oh, and I did not know that.
The new group, I heard some behind the scenes on that. That was pretty dark too.
Ooh.
I was very shocked. It's happening all over though.
Well, a few years back, I don't know if you guys have heard of it or not. It was called the Dominion. It was started by James and Eva.
Yep.
The Dominion went under. Nobody thought they would ever go under.
Oh, you mean Denwin? Yeah. Denwin?
It went under, and then Bishop Long kind of picked up the pieces and ran with it.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And ironically enough, the group that's now doing my case for my attachment just got accepted into Long's group, actually. And I know Long personally. I met him at SilCon years ago. He's a great guy, Bishop Long. He's a good dude. So I'm kind of glad he picked up but at least from what I know of him, I saw Hallie's look up there. I saw Hallie's look up there.
Yeah, and I know exactly what that comment about customer service. Try a working call center. That's worse.
They call center for years.
Terrifying. By the way, though, if you do work call center, I don't know if you'd be able to do it on day shift, but when I was on night shift, what I would do is I would do the heart chakra singing bowl in one of my mics. And that helped out a lot. It helped to clean out a lot of crap that I was catching.
Oh, I constantly had to have shields up because if I didn't, I'd wind up with migraines.
It got really, really bad for a couple of people I knew there. But yeah, anyway. Free range hippie. I don't mean to sound like I don't believe in charging for services. I forget my lifestyle is different and I have several ways to earn money. So it's not the biggest deal to not make much off of clearings. And that is a blessed lifestyle for you, free range. Yeah. Go you. Well done.
That's awesome.
I have cold calls. Oh, dear God, Eowyn.
Oh, Lord.
Was charming in the most sarcastic way. Oh, dang. No. I don't come across too many that can't afford the fees, but when I do, I let them slide. I may be a sap. No, you're not a sap, hon. Like I said, there's so much pro bono work coming out of my store, coming out of my energy workers, my readers.
Oh,
I'm sure Doc and Hallie do plenty of pro bono. I know Earl and Matt do. And the biggest rule at the shop, though, is Des Moines New Age shop. If there's a kid involved in the case, automatically pro bono. If this small child, it's automatically pro bono because that stuff, when it gets a hold of a little kid, it's horrifying. So,
well, even with us, it's under 18 and under. 18 and under, and it becomes an emergency case.
Yep.
I don't care if they're pre-adolescent or 16, 17. They're still a child at that point.
Oh no, I know a couple of pre-adolescents that the demons wouldn't take them. No, I'm teasing.
Yeah, well,
I'm teasing.
we all know a couple of them.
Yeah, I have a couple upstairs. I won't take them either.
Not everyone has services for trade or is able to either. A happy balance is always good. Yes, Nicole, balance is wonderful.
Balance is that.
I ran the mystical market at the Central Iowa Fairgrounds in Marshalltown. Yeah, I know.
That's the one I was at last year.
I am hoping that you do another one because I definitely want to go back to it. I loved doing it. All the clients were really nice. I dig it.
I want to know if she knows Kelly or not. She probably does.
Oh yeah.
Say the last name again.
Kelly Steffen.
So
yeah, she runs all the other events up there in Marshalltown.
Well, Kelly was there for a while until she had to take a couple steps back herself.
Teen, preteen are heavy draws to nasties. Yes. They have a lot of energy. They have a lot of energy moving, and they're in a time of transition period.
Well, that's why we've theorized that it's so active is because, especially the schools that have the K through high school, because you've got that time of before pre-K and stuff and kindergarten where you're got all those energies, building who you're going to become, and then as you know, they just continually get bigger and bigger as you're reaching puberty, and so schools that the all those grades included have a tendency to be a bit more active because of all that energy, we think.
I have found, oddly enough, small kids, and see, I was originally told when I first had my son that any child under the age of 7 is fully protected. That is a lie. I have found that gifted smaller kids are targeted specifically. And I was very surprised at that. I'm surprised there isn't more supernatural protection for them on the other side. I don't know if you guys have run into that, but I've run smack dab into it down here in Des Moines. And also personally.
The cases where the kids don't have any kind of protection like that, it's usually a karmic thing from another lifetime we ran into.
Oof. Poor kids.
Well, karma is a motherfucker, and you can't, excuse my French, but and you can't outrun it. It does. People wonder why bad things happen to good people. Well, we don't necessarily know what those good people's karmic debts were in a past life.
Well, the only thing is, though, I've heard from other clearers that work outside my shop and everything all across the state and from other states, they're having the same issues. I don't know all the clearers, obviously, but I mean, that's a heavy percentage.
Surprise me.
I'm trying to get one going for this fall. Yay! But they are still dealing with remodeling and insurance stuff. Boo. Okay.
Yep. For this fall,
How do I? Yep.
just give me a heads up notice, because I will have copies of the new magazine with me,
Yes, Kelly.
so that people will have access to it.
Oh, thanks, Eowyn.
Okay.
Awesome. I appreciate that. Oh, and I still need to get you articles and stuff, Earl. I am just look, it's a mess over here, all right? It's a mess. I am dog paddling at best.
Kelly was a good mentor for many, many years. She's good people. I love Kelly. I thought she might know her.
Awesome.
If I'm not mistaken, I've seen that name come across our podcast too. I believe that Free Range Hippie used to watch Introspection as well.
Well, I appreciate Free Range checking us out too. I'm here, Owen, and thank you. We had a good long chat. Yay! And see, that is one of the things I love about doing the fairs and doing the shop and everything like that. And it started when my dad and I, we used to put on fairs. Him and his girlfriend, and then I was art show director, Mystical Moonlight Fairs. Like, God, it's been years now. But I know a lot of the vendors, they would come up and tell me, did you know that I met my best friend that I still have like 10, 15 years later at you guys' fair? It always made me so happy because people would connect. They would connect at the fairs, at the shop, everything. And I love that. Nowadays, I'm kind of scared because everybody is so mean. They're mean to each other. God. But that's why I'm glad when Eowyn and Nicole, people like that, when they can actually come together and connect on a good vibration. Mm-hmm. Now, Hallie, tell me what happened with your shop.
Oh, we had black mold.
Black mold?
Black mold in the ceiling. And so, yeah. And he wasn't going to get it fixed. And so we got let out of our contract. But
okay. Well, I'm sad to see you go.
That we have other plans, right? We have plans.
Yeah.
I'll send our messages as soon as I can. Book a date. It was well received event last year. Yes, ma'am.
Yep.
Awesome.
I agree.
Let me know.
I agree.
We have black mold in our school.
Let's hope a few days over there to the west of us can get another shop going here soon.
To the west. Wait, do you mean in Iowa or another state?
Well, Hallie and Dennis, so I hope that you guys can get find another place here to set up shop.
Yeah. Now, are you guys going to set up another shop or?
Well, we're actually thinking about doing something mobile.
Nifty.
Nice.
Yeah, I got an old camper that I kind of I got it and kind of transforming it into a gypsy wagon. And yeah.
Awesome.
So,
you guys got the same idea I've got, because I'm going to go mobile with everything that I do.
Why not?
Well, Hallie, you let me know, and I will send you an elaborate belly dancing skirt for your gypsy wagon.
Excellent.
Whether you or Doc want to wear it, or should I just send you two?
Is it for me or Dennis?
Yeah, I was going to say, you just want me to send you two? There we go.
I give it consideration. I think about wearing it, but no, I'm not going to.
Okay, what about Wings of Isis? I can get light up ones.
Wings of Isis.
Wings of Isis.
That's where the big cloth in the back.
I gotta sleep on that one.
Okay.
He doesn't like costumes. So.
I'm not a costume person.
Oh, well, that's too bad.
Someone at one point was going to try to get me into a hula skirt. I was like, nope.
Oh.
I figure I'm wearing my costume all the time, so it really doesn't matter.
The only costume Dennis will put on is the Santa gear. That's it.
That's right.
Don't tell the kids he's actually Santa.
You just blew it, Wisha.
And that's okay. Kids aren't watching. Dude, it's 10 o'clock at night. Come on now. The only kind of kids that are up are mine. Rest of them are all asleep. Hey, he's a night owl. He comes by it genetically. My dad was a night owl, or my dad is a night owl. My uncle was a night owl. Aunt was a night owl. I think my grandma was a night owl. I'm a night owl. My kid's a night owl. Yeah. It's a thing.
Give that kid a shot of whiskey and melatonin, he'll be out.
Nah, that's okay. We just roll with it. You know, he has night terrors, and there's a lot of stuff. Like I said, Hallie, one of these days we're going to sit down over a cup of coffee, and your hair is going to stand straight on end, or maybe it won't.
Oh God, I have 3, remember? So you know.
No, I'm talking about the more witchy end of it.
Oh yeah, well, I don't know. I got some stories of my own.
Okay, I was gonna say
almost all mine are grown, so I got y'all. I got y'all out pegged.
I know.
My youngest is 16. My oldest is 32.
Wait, you had your youngest kid at 16 years old?
He was he's stepson. He was 3 years old when I met him.
I was gonna say, damn, dude, you just
starting early.
Right through it, man.
I still had my first one at 21 though. So.
Well, that's not so bad. It's like 16. Christ, I wanted a kid at that age, but I knew I couldn't handle one. I was like, yeah, there's no way.
I was married and had JD. We settled down with JD by the time I was 19. So.
Okay, Capricorn, now you're just overachieving. Erwin, same here. Love burning the midnight oil. Represent night owls.
I try to be, but
I know.
I can't do it anymore.
What, Hallie?
I used to be able to and drag my butt home at the crack of dawn, but it's like, nope.
I've always said if I could run the shop at night, I'd do it in a heartbeat. The only problem is I would be scared of the crazies that would come in because I'd have to have my kid with me. So, yeah.
Yeah, because you still got some characters around that neighborhood.
You know, it didn't used to be so bad. And in my old neighborhood where the shop originally started, it actually was pretty good. It did start to darken out. Probably about a year before Arthur was born. And then when we moved into the new neighborhood, it got really weird. I'm not going to lie to you. It's been weirdness ever since. Just bizarre stuff. So, yeah. Hallie, you remember that time when you asked if you could park your car overnight in my parking lot? And I said,
oh, yeah.
I don't feel good about that because I am just, and it wasn't just the physical aspect. Why I said I had a lot coming at me at that point. Granted, I still do even now, but I was like, you know, I don't want her getting mixed up in this.
That's where I carry conceal.
Good for you, man. Good for you. Get people walking in after close, even if sides are flipped, if doors unlocked. Yes, that is true, Nicole. Yes, but that used to happen at the old place all the time too. And my rule was, if I'm there, I'm open. You know. Now that I have a kid, it's a little bit different, but you know, I'm definitely home before the sun sets. Most nights. So. You okay, Earl?
Oh yeah, I'm good.
Okay.
I thought you were asking me because I was being bored. I saw shadows moving on the wall over there. So
hopefully it's the cats.
No, the cats are all accounted for. I think it was my wife.
Okay.
But it wouldn't be uncommon to see a shadow in this house.
It's like, honey, you there? No. Okay.
Well, we started having activity in the house shortly after I started investigating, and it was not just normal activity either. It was like mimic activity. Like my daughter, or no, my wife here. No, my daughter. She was up showering that morning before she moved out. She heard her mom's voice say she loved her while she was in the shower. I'm getting ready to shut down again, but real quick. My wife was still at work that morning. So anyway, love you guys.
Peace
I'm getting ready to Bye.
Bye.
I've got, I actually have a family member who has followed me to each place I've lived.
Really?
Yeah, and that's my grandmother on Dad's side, because she was, couldn't find out after she passed that she was a kitchen witch.
Oh, nice.
And that's hence the reason why her mother never seen eye to eye.
Wow.
So once I found that out, and actually had someone, a friend of mine, who came over one night and basically had seen her and described her to me, I said, "Yep, that's Grandma."
Wow. Okay. Eowyn, how do you know it's the same person? Earl.
Well, that's because she's always followed me to each and every place that I've been to, and plus, like you said, I've had friends of mine actually see her and describe her to me. It's like, that's Grandma.
That's awesome. Actually, though, that's really nice to have a kitchen witch that follows you around from the family line.
Yeah,
It's pretty cool.
Well, there are times it's like I always have to check. I always have to check to see if her grandmother is here at certain times. It's like, go away for a little while, would you?
Yeah, no, I get that. Now, quickly, just back on topic for a bit. What would you say to the people that are just starting on this journey, that are having a hard time finding community? What would you say? I mean, yeah, I've got the podcast and different stuff like that. I'm sure you guys have resources as well that I want you to advertise. But what advice would you give them as far as sussing out more quickly what a group is about?
Well,
Go ahead, you two.
you know, I'll use my daughter as an example for this one, because my daughter doesn't like change.
Oh, yeah.
And she's a Taurus, and she's
Me
very
too.
stubborn.
Yep.
And she does not like change. And yet, if she goes to a new school or a new club or a new organization, friends find her. You know, and I think that's the same in the metaphysical community. If we go to a new fair, like for like is going to stick together. And that person, I went to a brand new fair just about 8 weeks ago. It was in Columbia. Or no, in where was that? In Oklahoma. What town was that in? Bartlesville. And it was a very small fair, but I had not done this one before, and I only knew one other person there. And there was this very sweet younger gal that was there, and we clicked immediately. And she's very much like me, had a very similar background and this and that. We struck up we spent the entire weekend, it was so slow there. We spent the entire weekend just chatting.
Okay.
So, you know, I don't think people really need to worry if they're, starting out and they're doing this. They're going to find their tribe. They're going to find their people, but they're also going to grow and they're going to move on from those people.
And the other thing I was going to say is, what would you say to the people that they are genuinely good people and very gifted, but they're getting really turned off by the bullshit. And they're kind of starting to move away from the metaphysical in general.
I don't think okay, for me, because I thought, oh my God, I came into this community thinking, oh, light and love, everybody's going to get together and we're all going to get along. Yeah, well, the very first fair that I did, I knew that was not going to happen. So I had to make a decision for myself. Am I going to be tough? Am I going to go on? Or I'm going to let them beat me and I'm going to crawl back into my corner. And you have to, no matter what you do in life, you have to be tough. You have to stand up for yourself and you have to do what you believe, regardless of who is against you. And I'm going to use myself as an example on this. If I had done what people told me, or so I am a severe dyslexic, and going through school, I was called stupid every single day of my life. And if I had let them in, and if I had believed that, I would never graduated high school, much less gone on to college. And this is the same thing. If you are going to allow people to control your path, then, I think you do have to take it in your own hands.
A lot of people are looking for answers and they don't know where to go.
Mm-hmm.
What would you suggest?
Mm-hmm.
Well, again, I think you have to find somebody that you have to find a mentor. And, you know, the person sitting next to me, I considered a mentor to begin with.
Okay, I was going to say, Hallie, you do know that mentors are in really, really fucking short supply, right?
Oh, they are. I know.
Okay, and especially the ones that don't want to dick you over.
I'm glad you said that because my price just went up.
Okay. Yeah. Hold on. And Thor is
my rent.
Hey, Thor, what's up? Well,
Hey,
Thor, tell me.
So, and plus, I got to admit that things that I have been seeing, especially with the younger crowd, is that they're going by what these idiots over on TikTok are telling them.
Well, yeah. But how are you supposed to stop that?
That has got to stop.
But we can't do anything about that. And you have to remember too, though, when it's like going to church. Your parents take you to church, right? And your parents say you have to believe this and you have to believe this, and the preacher is telling you this, and your all the parishioners are telling you these things. I went through that my whole life, yet I still got out of religion. And I think these kids too will come to their own realization and their own, because it is your own journey. It's like dying. You have to go through it alone sometimes.
Hi, Nicole.
Well, and I tell the young people who come to me and ask me what to do, how to get going, and I tell them, point blank, it's just like picking a primary physician. Pick one that you seem to have an affinity with.
You're muffling out, bud.
Okay. It's just like if you want somebody who can mentor you, look for somebody that you have an affinity for, that you resonate with. It's just like picking a primary physician. You pick one, you stick with that person. Okay. They may not do, let's hope they don't make mistakes, but they may be confused sometimes about what's going on with you, and it may take them a while to figure it out. But ultimately, they always do right by you. And that's how you look for a reader or a mentor. You find someone you resonate with, you stick with them, and throughout thick and thin. If they start telling you have to believe in the devil and you have to do this and do the things that are against your morals and ethics, then it's time to get on your horse and move out. Find somebody different.
I like that. Now, quick question, though. What if the person you're picking for a mentor doesn't actually realize they're a mentor or want to be a mentor? Do you just kind of hang out and see what they have to say?
Well, I always tell people to sit down. If this is what you want to do, go to a particular reader, tell them you're trying to get started, and ask them if you can sit by and just kind of watch them, see how they do things. See how a tarot reader reads. Not every tarot reader reads the same.
Yeah.
Go to several different ones and just sit and tell them, I would like to sit and watch you. I'm trying to learn. I'm trying to get into the metaphysical world. I'd like to be a professional reader. Do you mind if I sit by and just watch you?
No, I'm not talking about readers or vendors. I'm talking about just your basic person.
Yeah.
Person who's trying to get where they need to go.
And then that's actually, so like my boyfriend, he was curious about spirituality and just wanted to know more. And so he's like asked me a lot and like the people I know. So he's been learning from everyone.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, and that's the way it should be. We should be sharing our information with other people, the ones who want to learn, want to know, right. Whether they get into the business or not. If they're interested in understanding, then if we have the information, I think we should give it to them.
But I also think the best place for people to go is
Hallie, you're fading out, baby.
Yeah, you're.
The best place to go for a new person is an established faith.
I cannot hear you.
I hear you must be out.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. What to do.
I don't know.
The one thing that also people need to actually do is pick up a book.
Yeah.
Whoa.
There
Which
are
book?
so many books out there.
Yeah, but
People
a
need
lot
to
of
learn to
them,
pick up a book and read.
a
Yep.
lot of them are just filled with misinformation.
Yeah, I know. There are a lot of them out there that are
And
filled
I'm
with
not
misinformation.
talking
And
about
There are
innocent.
good ones, though.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
the main good ones that I always point out are the ones that are coming through from Llewellyn.
Llewellyn does have a lot of good ones, but I've seen a couple skip through that are pretty dark.
Yeah.
Brandon is newbie books, and I'm like, that is not a newbie book. So, do you guys have reading lists actually that you would put up? No.
Yeah, because I've got several of the books here because I get sent copies directly from Llewellyn.
Ooh, awesome.
Especially from the authors who I have interviewed.
Can you hear us now?
A
A little bit better.
A little bit better. I think if we go back, if we lean back,
Maybe.
Do you have like a mic? Do you have a mic you can plug into your phone?
No, I mean, yeah, no.
Can I get some links on Llewellyn? Earl,
Yes.
Eowyn needs links on Llewellyn.
Not a problem. I can get that for you.
Okay.
Because I've got basically I'm in good with the what's his name up in Minneapolis. So I'm good with him. So yeah, I can get those links to you. And then the other thing that the sad part about all of this is that we're slowly losing our elders.
Yeah.
And that's the bad part because most all of our elders are elderly and they can't travel anymore.
Good night, everybody.
And that's the hard part about attending events where people are wanting to learn, but not having our elders available for people to answer questions. That's the tough part. That's where we need to pick up their knowledge and to be able to convey that.
Actually, that's one of the things I finally realized. I mean, granted, as you say, Hallie, Taurus, slow to change. I finally realized when so many people were walking in the shop telling me, no, I'm disabled, I can't get out of my house, or no, I can only catch a ride with this person like twice a year, or da 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 da. And I finally realized, well, crap, I've got online. That's why I did the podcast. I'm doing everything like that. I'm doing the articles, all of it.
Here.
Yeah, and why I love doing the interviews. I know. Oh, by the way, Hallie, Doc, your interviews that you did originally at the Adventureland Psychic Fair, they're up on Des Moines New Age Radio on Spotify, just so as you know.
Okay. Oh, okay. Cool.
So,
thank you.
But no, basically getting the intuitives, getting the elders talking. And I will tell you another thing, Earl. There's something else. A lot of the elders that I used to know have shut down. They are not willing to come out and do this openly anymore, which is something I've been really shocked about.
That's the other tough part. And basically, there's still a couple of them that they're still able to get out and about, but they're getting up there. There's going to come down to a point where they're not going to be able to engage as easily.
No, I'm not even talking mobility. I'm talking they don't want to be in public speaking anymore.
Yeah.
Not on air, not anywhere. And I've been very shocked about that. What is your take on that, Hallie, Doc, and Earl?
Well, yeah, I know that there are a few that are shutting down completely that don't even want to be out in public, which is the sad part because of the negativity that's in the community.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, especially
that's what's causing
that.
I know
they're not willing to put up with that negativity anymore, so they're stepping back because they can.
Especially with how much purposeful hexing is going around.
Yes.
Yeah.
Like,
And
we
the
don't need
ones that I know are basically saying, I've given so many people the information over the years. If any of them aren't going to step up, there's no reason for me to do it.
that too, yeah.
Okay, yeah, I get that too. Yeah, and that's another thing. Nobody's stepping up. What's up with that?
Because nobody wants to anymore. And that's where a lot of times where I'm speaking on air, when I'm doing my podcast and whatnot, I will do my very best to try to light fires under people's butts. And it's what it's come down to get people to say, hey, look, we need you to step up and start getting active. Because the longer that you stay in the shadows and not do anything, nothing's going to get any better.
Yeah. Well, and actually, free range brings up a good point. I'm sorry, my dear, I forget your name, so I hope you're going to be okay with me calling you free range. I like this. This is a question I want to pose to all of you. I think what we need to focus on is educating and how to distinguish garbage from quality content. Now, I've tried to do that some myself, but how would you guys do it? Quick tips. Hallie, Doc, Earl, you know what, Thor? Everybody weigh in on this. Nicole, I want you, you're in the comments, but I want your ideas too. And
a lot of it is intuition.
Go for it. Well, okay, intuition, but give me a little more than that.
I mean, you just kind of have to, like, I guess that's just how I do it. Is I gauge like how it feels. Is there any? Does this feel real at all? And like,
yes,
so far, exactly.
And the thing with Llewellyn is that they have been doing Llewellyn cons online.
Oh,
and they have been inviting a certain amount of guest speakers, authors, who have proven information that they've vetted. And that way they know that the information that's being relayed is accurate.
Okay. I love that. Eowyn, and see, this is the question that I get a lot. I want to, but I am not that in tune with my spirit guides as of yet. I need some time, but I have the passion and the motivations. There we go. And that in and of itself sums up, thank you, Eowyn, because you summed up almost perfectly what I hear as a message from every one of my clients, almost at least 95%, no matter where they're from. Heck, I've even had people from foreign countries ask me that.
Well, I think Earl brought up a good point, and that is what people don't do, young people don't do today, is they don't read. Right. And I know, Alyssa, you were talking about, well, how there's good stuff and bad stuff. And if you get in touch with your intuition and your heart space, when you pick up a book and you get a couple chapters in, and you all of a sudden your whole body says, nope, this is junk.
Yes.
I mean, I've got a whole bookcase full of books that the editors and all go online and, oh man, this is the book of the century. It's going to teach you everything you need to know. I get about 10 pages in, I'm going, well, this is junk.
Yeah.
Well,
all that is, if it comes too easy, it's too easy.
See, and I grew up with my dad. My dad's a huge reader. He's into UFOs, everything else. But when I was little, I would always see him. He would have this stack of paperbacks, all New Age or UFOs or paranormal. And what he would do is he would put X's and write in the margins and everything like that. Mm-hmm. And he would always say he was so sick of it because you got maybe 10 pages out of a 300-page book.
Yep.
And
the rest is garbage.
Find the correlations between them too. Like, look at ones that, like if you read one through and it's like you're not sure about it yet, you don't get the right, like you're not sure about the feel. Check out a few others, and if they have similar ideas, and it's like not like a fad type ideas, like it's more like something that you haven't heard just on public, but it's actually like repeating in multiple sources in multiple ways. It might have some basis in something.
Yeah,
And
it's
I always tell
Global
people,
Publishing, that's
find
the-
an author you really, really like and stick with that author.
Yeah.
Okay. But don't be afraid to poke around in other books too.
Right,
Yeah.
right, exactly.
They've been doing more online. Yeah.
Like,
that's true.
it's just if you find an author and it seems to work well for you, and like you're, like it seems to like be true to you, use that as a basis. Look
That's
at
true.
other authors and like try it out and see how it feels in comparison.
Sure, exactly. Exactly.
What do you guys think of Christopher Penczak?
I don't know that one.
I've heard a bit of this and a bit of that. I tried reading a little bit of his stuff. It wasn't for me.
I've got I think I've got one of his books, and I just take it with a grain of salt.
Okay.
And plus, I'm mostly like hands-on or like word of mouth. So
Yeah, that's true. I think that author published some and with Llewellyn. Yes, I believe so. I believe Penczak is strictly Llewellyn, but I could be wrong. He may have branched out.
He
But-
is.
oh God, Eowyn, I am never telling my dad that you said that. But thank you. That's well his head.
yeah, I would go right to him.
Thank you, Nicole. And yeah, Nicole is definitely an awesome resource. She likes big books and she cannot lie. Hey Earl, what you doing over there?
Basically, I was trying to come up with at least one good book that I've got here. Oh,
it would go to his head, Nicole. Oh.
You got me looking.
All right, cool. Well, now take us over to your bookshelf so we can snoop around on your bookshelf. Looking at books, Nicole. Okay, Hallie, I haven't heard much from you. How do you pick your books? How do you have that garbage? How do you have that this is bunk or this is good radar? Baby doll? Okay, you know what? I'm going to pack up a microphone. I'm going to get it off of Timu, and I am going, if you will not give me your address, I'm going to send it to Doc, and then he's going to give it to you.
I don't know what he can talk about.
I heard talk.
Yeah, no, that's it. Like, literally, you had to go higher register.
Maybe. Am I going too masculine tonight?
Doc's voice is really deep. So you great. Speak up.
I have a, you know me, I have a pretty loud voice. You can hear me across the room.
I understood more of that.
Yeah, we heard more of that.
Oh, okay. This is, if I could type it, we'd be faster here.
I know, right?
Mm-hmm. Well, if you can hear me,
yes,
now.
Yes.
Oh, now you can hear me? Excellent. All right. So it's probably my connection here. My kids are all on using the internet, so it's probably that.
Yeah, that's what it sounds like.
I hesitate calling anybody else's work junk. And the reason I say that is because it is from their perspective. Mm-hmm. And as we know, we come into this world creating our own space, just as we do on the other side. So when they come up with their own perspective or their own take on something, I hesitate to call it junk. Now, whether it resonates with you or not is an entirely different issue.
Well, I'm talking about more like, let's give you an example.
Yeah.
Can everybody hear me okay?
Yeah.
All right. Oh, nice. I'm getting glare, Earl.
This one right here.
Yeah. Oh, Deborah D'Angelo. Cool.
Yeah.
All right.
This one, this is definitely one that I would recommend for beginners.
Okay.
She wrote it specifically for beginners.
Okay. Nice. Okay, so information-wise, information being truthful or not. And I mean, yes, the subject can be truthful, but how it's framed. This was actually, after I read this was what got me started writing articles. I was doing some research, and all of a sudden I tripped over this saying, oh yeah, you know what is the best way to get energy? Basically, you take a human ghost and you trap it, and then you bind it to you and feed off of its energy. That's white light magic. Okay. All right. Yeah, Thor. Yeah. That's what got me writing articles. That's why I'm writing. That's why I'm doing all this. So I guess it inspired me, but still.
Well, but they also sell the Ouija board in stores and tell you it's a great tool. Yeah, so.
Don't get me started on Ouija boards. I'm going to do a whole program and some articles and possibly a book.
What was that book?
Doc's over there like, oh my God, okay. But yes.
What was that book that Earl showed though?
Oh, Earl, we need the book again. We need the book again.
Yep. Here we go. Yikes.
Curious by
Deborah D'Angelo.
By Deborah D'Angelo. Yep.
Curious.
Ooh, sweet. T.Y. Earl. Okay. Free Range is with us again. This person wouldn't be able to manipulate them. I really want to create a program to educate people on what to look for, or maybe a system that filters readers who are proven to be quality readers.
Thank you, Ewan.
Yes, Free Range. That is the trick, though. Again, getting community together. If you can do it up in Marshalltown, do it. 100%. Send me the link. I'll put it out there. Down here, I've given up. I'm sorry, but it's the truth. Outside of Thor and Cole, that's about it.
Now, if you want to learn more about all of our elders, past and present, this one right here.
Pagan witch elders of the world.
Yeah. And this was written by my good friend Tamara von Forsland out of Australia.
Okay.
One of the things.
It sounds like more like a chronicle.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, it's a chronicle of basically all of our pagan and witch elders of the world, both past and present. And she did an excellent job of doing write-ups on everybody. She even has a pagan census in this book that details how our numbers are growing each year.
Eowyn, can you type the title and author in the comments, please?
Also, the older books are better.
Yeah.
Yeah, the older ones are better.
I mean,
if they've survived the ages, most of the time that means that they work.
Yeah, exactly.
Some of them have junk in them, but yeah, I will say they were way better researched and thought out. They didn't just slap in there and go, yeah. It's like, okay. Earl, I need you to show that book again.
Which one?
The Witch Elders. Show it, and then show the author.
Yep. Okay, this one right here.
Okay, then show the author.
That picture is really familiar.
I know, right? Sweet. Okay. And then Buckland's Big Blue Book. Yes, Buckland was awesome.
Yep.
I was so
and
sad.
Then the other one that I've always recommended, I've always called it the Big Green Book, called Paganism. And that's by Joyce and River Higginbotham.
Ooh. Do you have that one laying around that you can show?
Unfortunately, no. I no longer have that one, but that's the one that I've always started off with. That's one that I've recommended to everybody.
And one that I'd recommend for not necessarily being pagan stuff, but for energy work, is that the Psychic Vampire Codex. Even if you aren't a vamp, there's still a lot of useful stuff in there.
Do you have the book?
Yeah, let me grab it.
Go get the book. Thank you.
You spoke of Raymond Buckland.
Doc, you're muffling out. Speak to us.
You spoke about Buckland and the books that he's written. One of the books that he's written, and I don't know how recent it is, it's Buckland's book on spirit communication. But it's not just about communication. Here, she's got it.
Nice.
Nice.
Oh,
the
was
book.
that always a red cover? Because I don't remember it being red. Can't hear you, but that's
It's
okay.
a newer printing.
Okay, it's a reprint. That's the other thing I figured out. A lot of the older books that went out of print, they're reprinting them.
Yeah.
Oh, hey, yeah, all right. Erwin, type that down in the comments, The Art of Psychic Protection, and show me the author. Judy Hall. Nice. Nice.
And of course, one of the classics is Psychic Protection by Dion Fortune.
Yes, I have that one.
And it's her book. They're excellent. They're good books for people who are just getting started and who want to understand the metaphysical world. I've still got these books that I bought clear back in the 70s. Brad Steiger is another one. And another one that I followed for a number of years was, can't say his name, Dick Sutphin.
Ooh.
He was a hypnotist out of Sedona, and he's written a number of books on psychic phenomenon, how meditation, how to do this, and he always went back and researched everything, and it's not just what American authors might be saying. He goes back and listens to what some of the old Indian texts from India, what Native Americans have said. He researches everything, and so when he puts a book out, his information is pretty correct.
Nice. I remember Dad reading Sutphin. Nicole,
Dennis's statement is so out of left field.
It's the lady known for the crystal books, Judy Hall. I'm taking so many notes. I miss Shih Tzus. Well, you know, hey.
That's what I'm saying. Like that was so out of left field. I'm like, what?
Yeah, that's Dennis's job. Keep us on our toes. Anyways.
That, yeah.
But now, what are you guys' thoughts? And this is more, I don't know, maybe it's not really more metaphysical. It's more witchy. Yvonne, and I think his name is Gavin Frost. What are your thoughts on those authors? I know they've had a huge scandal lately, but I'm never sure what to believe. What are your thoughts?
Which book they put out?
They put out several. I've got a couple on my shelf. I'm not going to try and get to them right now because I need another bookshelf. Anyway, but I was very interested. My dad had it laying around the house, and so I started reading it. He was more on the metaphysical, the fringe science, and paranormal UFOs, but he had this one book, and I was really surprised. A lot of their spell working witchcraft techniques actually worked. A lot of their books are out of print now, though, and I think partially it's because of the scandal. The Frosts, a husband and wife duo.
I've never heard of it.
Okay. I was just curious.
What was the other name?
I believe it was, I know it was Yvonne, and I believe his name was Gavin Frost.
Yeah, I know they've had some controversial topics.
I don't know about the controversy because I never know who to believe in it, but I was amazed. The systems in their books actually worked.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I have a big list of digital books I had gotten in a bunch of different packs that are like different kind of witch stuff and all that.
Mm-hmm.
I was sitting there; those names sound familiar, so I was like, "Is it one of those?" But no, the only one that keeps repeating on this one is Courtney Weber. But I haven't read them yet, so I can't really say if I recommend them or not.
Okay. Hallie and Doc, do you have any other book recommendations?
Well, I couldn't tell you. I don't know. Yeah, she's gonna go and get a book that she and I both use quite a bit. We are seeing. I can only say I am seeing a tremendous surge in the number of star children coming in for information. It's like, I'm ready. I don't know where to get started. How do I get started on my mission?
That's another one.
And it's interesting. This particular book, it's something on. She went to get it. But it lists all of the different alien species, their characteristics, what they believe in, and it includes the draconian races as well as the Greys. And so it's really nice to be able to see someone, know that they're a star child, and go, I think you're Arcturian or you're Syrian or you're Palladian, and you can hand them something. Yeah, she's got it here.
By the way, Erwin,
library wasn't great.
Okay, Erwin, please type these down, or if Dr. Hallie can type them in the comments. The extra, yes, Craig. What's the author name? Camposasso? Campodasso?
Campobasso.
Campobasso. Erwin, thank you for asking that. What is a star child? That is that is a whole other show I want to do. I just need to gather enough people to talk about it. And I'd love to have Crystal Shamanism. I'd love to have Hallie and Doc on again to chat about the whole star child thing.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I love that one. I've got that one.
And you know me, I'm always able to, always up for talking, even I don't know the topic.
I know, right?
Angels. Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. Can't hear you, babe.
It's one that she always keeps in her bag for fairs.
So now, Doc, you're going to have to talk for her?
Yeah, as long as I don't have to sign, I'm okay.
Okay.
Okay, and I got one more here for you.
Positive Pagan.
Okay.
Yep.
Lisa Wagner.
Lisa Wagner.
Yep.
Cool. Okay.
That one's familiar, actually.
Love it. I'm going to be getting is the Extraterrestrial Species Almanac, is that in print or is it out of print?
Yes, it's in print.
Okay. Sweet.
You can get it from your friendly publisher.
Frank.
Or Frank, yeah.
Frank, yes. Frank and Frank, the book
man.
Okay. Talk amongst yourselves about books for just a minute. I'm receiving a message. Not from the spirit realm either.
Well, I personally, I'm the type of person, I prefer reading as much from the old masters because it gives, how should I put it? It creates my foundation.
That's fair.
My metaphysical foundation. And then from that point, I can go out and explore what other people think and what other people had to say. If it resonates, I'll incorporate it into my lexicon and my foundation. If it doesn't, then I let it go. But I'm the type that I'm kind of a dinosaur. I prefer the old masters when it comes to getting the information and understanding what the metaphysical and spiritual world is about.
Interesting. I'm very much about experimentation. I guess I'm kind of probably pretty reckless with things, but at the same time, I still try to learn from those around me, but at the same time explore by myself. And I consult the goddess a lot, so.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a bit of a traditionalist. And plus I've got a good BS radar. Really good BS radar.
Right. Yeah, I go off intuition a lot.
Oh my God, that is, yeah, no. I remember one of the You guys know I do East-West combination astrology. Been doing it a very, very long time. And I had a particular vendor come in and tell me all about it. I just let that person keep talking. I let him keep talking and keep talking and keep talking. And I didn't say anything. I didn't correct anything. Because you guys know I'm not going to correct anybody. Dennis comes in and he's like, what the fuck? Like, oh God, Dennis, no, this is going, let him go. I'm curious. I got to see how this goes. So yeah, no, I will say I've got a really good BS radar. I don't always say anything, mainly because it's kind of entertaining for me to watch somebody hang themselves. I know that's mean, but you know it's true. But, and especially if they really get into it.
Yeah.
Really get into it. It's just like, this is going to be good. Sometimes people they crucify themselves over and over. I know, right?
See, for me, like for finding the BS and all that, I was like, I'm still very skeptical, even of the things I do. Like, even just this week, like working on healing a sunburn using energy. Like, I woke up like, that should not have worked. Like, scientifically, that's wrong, but it worked.
Hey, if it works,
yeah,
document it.
Well, I think a certain degree of skepticism keeps us grounded, keeps us in the real world. So when I feel a little skeptical, I don't chide myself for it. I will, like with you, Alicia, I will listen to what somebody has to say. And if it doesn't feel right, if it quacks like a Tyrannosaurus, I'm not gonna buy it. I'll do the kindness of sitting there and listen to what they had to say. And then when I'm done listening, then I've got a reason to excuse to get away from it. But I think a certain degree of skepticism is healthy.
I think if you aren't a bit of a skeptic and a bit of a cynic going into this, that there's going to be a high percentage you're going to get hoodwinked. But I've always been highly cynical myself. I kind of was born that way. So, but
speaking of idiots who don't know what we're talking about, reminds me of a time that its history buff came to the shop.
No, yeah, I know.
Muhammad was running around with Jesus. I know.
Yeah, well, Dennis was mentioning another person that was a supposed history buff that, anyway, hung themselves. But
how stupid she actually was.
The only problem is that Dennis will say something, whereas I'm just going to sit back and go, really? Oh my God.
And she had the nerve to look at me when I corrected her.
4 + 4 = 10. I had no idea. You got to carry the 1.
And it comes with fries and a pickle spear.
Yep. So, but no, I've always been a skeptic, and I believe that anybody in this area needs to be skeptical. That way they don't, because this area is so subjective, because you can do so many things in this area that would be, good night, hon, that would be classified as improbable or impossible. You have to stay grounded. So cynicism, skepticism, absolutely have their place. By the way, I just ordered the extraterrestrial almanac. So thanks, guys. It was on sale on Amazon.
No.
I've always gone by the old adage: take in what's relevant to you, toss the rest out.
Yep, exactly. I'm a natural skeptic, and I don't know how many times my guys will try to teach me something, and I'm going, no, it can't possibly. And their answer to me is always the same.
Oh.
Go out, use it in the real world, and prove us wrong. And I always come back hanging my head going, yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
But I have to question. I have to question it, because if you just carte blanche accept everything, you are going to get taken. You are going to, you're going to be told things that just won't happen or can't possibly be.
Well, and the other thing too is, I don't know if any of you guys have had this happen. Have you had it happen where you ask your guides, angels, whatever you want to call them, the goddess, you start asking them questions that they feel that you should have the answers to? And so they start giving you snarky answers.
Oh, yeah.
They're like, yes, absolutely correct. And you're like, wait a minute. So
yeah.
Has it ever happened to you guys?
Oh, yeah.
Way too often.
I can't say that they've ever done that to me.
Okay.
In that case, they'll start asking me questions.
Yeah.
Well, what about this? Well, how do you feel about this? How does this work? What are you going to do with this? And they kind of tease the answer out of me because I already knew it and they're aware of that, but I wasn't aware of it.
Yours are nicer than mine.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
the goddess
Yours are
with
nice.
me, but at the same time, a lot of times she's just like, like, this is the answer I said. Stop trying to fight against it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And I've learned the hard way that I have to be careful what I ask, because if I'm not careful, I won't get what. No, I've learned that the hard way.
Mm-hmm. Well, I think we all have. We've all been. I know I've been knocked down more than once. And really, when I stop and think about it afterwards, it was ego that got me knocked down.
Okay. Can you give us an analogy? Story time.
Where's the popcorn?
I can't think of anything specifically.
Sorry, guys, my allergies are killing me.
I mean, I already told you that I'm sick, so.
Yeah. Okay. I need to hear you.
Can you hear me now?
Oh,
Actually, yeah. Loud and clear.
So maybe
Okay,
it's
yeah,
just
because the
left side
microphone
mic.
is on Dennis's side. That's why he can talk and I can't. You're not gonna be able to see me because I'm talking directly into the microphone.
Okay.
This goes back to last September. Now, I've been a Reiki master for, God, how old is my son? 19 years.
Okay.
But when I became a Reiki master, I was very skeptical of it. I actually thought this can't work. And for a long time, I let it go. Last September, they taught me a huge lesson. My son was hit by a car, almost died. And I had seen it that morning. And so the minute I knew that he had been hit, I started sending him so much energy. And continuously 6 to 8 weeks, he was ahead from what the doctor said he should have been.
Oh,
but
wow.
my guides are way more serious with me, and they sat around and waited for me to catch up.
Okay.
So I didn't know that you're a Reiki master. Please no. Not for me. We've established in the previous time Reiki is not great for me.
Well.
Oh, I can't hear you.
Done on you or for you doing Reiki?
Done on me. I don't know if I could do it. Being a vamp, I don't know if it's specifically being with a vamp, but for me at least, it's heavy and makes me sick.
Well, especially if it's not being done right to begin with.
That was done by people I trust.
Okay. All right. As long as it was done by somebody who you know and trust, and
yeah. They even also tried Seishin, and that wasn't as bad, but it was still not pleasant.
Mm-hmm.
But it's because the type of, like, with who I am with being a vamp, I'm kind of like a filter. I can take like raw kind of negative energy and eat it, consume it, filter it out.
He's working on the positive applications of being a psychic vampire, which I think is pretty cool. We're going to try and document it.
Well, and with me learning the traditional Norse ways of doing things,
Yeah.
I was trying to speak directly with the old Norse gods, and basically I've had to realize that you don't go to Odin with peddly shit.
Oh no.
Because he will come back and he will read you the riot act.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, no, he's some heavy shit.
Then again, I wouldn't go to deity with anything that wasn't an actual emergency.
Right.
That's it. I don't really like working with deities. I mean, they're okay, but it's not really my thing. I'm more spirituality rather than faith-based. But when I have had to work with deity in the past, no, doesn't matter what deity. If it's not an emergency, I don't bother them.
No, see, I work with the goddess with all aspects of my life, so
But
I have
you've
a better.
got a totally different relationship. Totally.
And it's also like I'm very devoted to her. So
bingo. Yep. I'm just spiritual freelancer. That would be probably the best description of.
Don't need a random journalist coming up to you asking superfluous questions.
I know, right?
Paparazzi.
Not paparazzi.
It was a joke.
Say, just somebody who deiters are cool. You know, everything like that. I definitely believe in all kinds of higher powers, everything like that. After speaking with different deities, I've gotten a much more interesting view on them. But I just, day-to-day life, I figure, you know what? I can help myself just fine. And if I don't, you know, that's me being lazy. But that's not for everybody. That's more the way I was raised.
Yeah.
My dad's favorite saying about God was, one day I phoned God up and I asked him for help. And God picked up the phone and said, Jeff, I'm up here with 6 of my finest hoes and my finest jug of wine. I gave you 2 hands. I gave you a wonderful brain. Figure it out yourself and quit calling me. And slammed down the phone. And that's kind of the philosophy I was raised with.
See, I'm very different than I was raised. Because I mean, I was raised Catholic, and I'm like the opposite.
No, my mom was originally raised Catholic, and then she decided to quit going to church at 6. She was like the same for me. So it's just like, no.
Same age, yeah.
Whoa, okay. Hold on. I agree and support you, Cass. If you had to make a choice between a book about Aleister Crowley, Edgar Cayce, Eric Von Däniken, and the Fatima sisters, which book would you use to balance your TV stand? What? I'm more faith-based myself now. But no. And that brings up a good point. Which of the older guard books do you guys feel is not applicable to people's journey? I know, Hallie, you said you don't like to dismiss anybody's work, but if you had a couple, which would you say were just not your thing? You're going to have to speak into the mic again.
Well, I don't know, because here's how I do a book. And it doesn't matter if it's pleasure reading or research or whatever. I pick up the book, I read the first page. If I hate it, I put it back.
Really?
Oh yeah.
Page?
First page. I don't care if it cannot give me something in the first page and keep my attention, I won't take it.
Really? Huh. That's interesting. Okay. Doc, what about you?
Well, I'm kind of.
You're gonna have to speak into the mic, homie.
I'm kind of like Callie in the sense that I'm the type that I'll read the first.
Am I getting peanut vibes?
I know, Doc. You're gonna have to speak into the mic.
Okay. I'm the type that I'll pick up a book. I'll read the first chapter and last chapter, and if I don't like the way it ended, I don't read it.
Okay.
Now, having said that, I think there's always, at least I can always find a grain of truth in just about any book.
Yep.
I know earlier I said if I don't like it, I put it down. Don't resonate. That's different. But I've never read any of Aleister Crowley's works, yet I have a feeling that if I read his work, in spite of all of the bullshit that he talks about and that he's done, there's a grain of truth to what he says.
Yeah.
And if I can find that grain of truth and I can use that and incorporate it into my concept of spirituality, then I'm going to do it.
Yeah.
And so, to say that, what was the other sister's book you were talking about?
Aleister Crowley, Edgar Casey, Eric Von Daniken, or the Fatima Sisters.
Well, Eric Von Daniken is a really good book. He has some really good books. If I just want to read for enjoyment, for pleasure. Yeah. I think there is a very, very small grain of truth to what he says, but I think they're just enjoyable.
Right.
And don't get me wrong, I believe, we just did the UFO conference down in Eureka Springs.
Oh, cool.
And so, you go, in that particular conference, you have aliens walking around all the time.
That is
but
cool.
Von Daniken, I think he's found a little niche and he's made a good living off of it, and I'm happy for him. Yeah. But I think if I read any book, whether I like it or not, whether I accept it or not, I'm going to find a little something in there that resonates, and if it fits into my concept of spirituality, then I'm going to incorporate it.
Huh. Earl?
Mm-hmm. It's felt like when I was assisting Ed with his first books that he was publishing, I agree that when you're doing a book, you have to make it so that you're going to keep people's attention. Because if you don't, then it's not even worth trying to do.
Okay.
So I agree that somebody's going to pick up a book that they find interesting by the cover and then start reading into it. And if they like it, they're going to keep reading it. If they don't, it's going to get pitched out.
Okay. Now, here's another question, and I'm actually really glad you brought this up, Nicole. Even for fantasy stuff, there's some truth. I love the Ghost Hunter series Victoria Laurie wrote, but she's also a medium. Okay, what are you guys' thoughts on truth actually coming through some science fiction, fantasy, supernatural books? I want to hear your thoughts on it.
Idea has to come somewhere.
Mm-hmm. Earl?
Most of them are works of fiction. However, we do have some very talented authors out there who are taking it well beyond the concept. And making it so that it makes people stop and think.
I've been very surprised. My mom is a huge reader. It's all science fiction, fantasy, stuff like that. In her youth, she read more fringe sciencey books, but now she reads mainly just to relax. And she's handed me some books, and I'm like, well, okay, I'll take a look. And I've been surprised at how correct some of the concepts are.
Mm-hmm.
I was really, really shocked. And one of the ladies that was supposed to be on today, Tony, she had originally mentioned to me, because I discussed the topic with her, she said, no, it all comes from a collective unconscious somewhere. Mm-hmm. So even when the authors are writing along, they are actually trancing out and pulling from these places and putting the information in where it will actually reach people the quickest. Because let's be honest, it's a very, very small amount of the population that's going to go grab a UFO book or a paranormal book or a book on meditation. But what reaches everybody, or almost everybody, what reaches the widest range is fiction.
Mm-hmm.
So
well, I think we can't rule out that like you said, that the likelihood that many of these authors get into, they call it getting into a zone, but they're transing out and they are tapping into the collective unconscious, the collective consciousness, and they're seeing the future. They're literally seeing the future, but they don't realize it. They're just simply putting it down in a science fiction book, yet it's something that is going to happen 10, 12 years from now.
Yes, Dennis, get some sleep.
Different realm, yeah.
Yeah, definitely get some sleep, dude.
Yeah.
When you view a soul's evolution, I can see how one may become a psychic vampire and then later grow out of that encapsulation. Souls can evolve. I believe they are self-actualizing.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I know I'm probably going to get dinged for this one, but when it is okay, this is my own thinking. This is my own beliefs that Roddenberry himself, I definitely believe he was a time traveler.
Interesting. What makes you say that?
He was predicting stuff that was going to be taking place here through his mind of coming up with all the Star Trek series.
Well, interestingly enough, they actually did a comparison. And what was it? At one point, Star Trek was predicting stuff first 20 years, then within 10 years, and it was reducing down. So all the technology that Star Trek was bringing about, the timeline that it was actually being created was just 2 decades, 1 decade, half a decade out.
Yeah. And like I said, it's my own beliefs that Roddenberry himself was a time traveler.
Interesting. I have never heard that idea before.
Well, Roddenberry, in an interview, admitted that he got the majority of his ideas from what he called otherworldly entities.
Ooh, I never heard that interview. That's cool. That's neat.
Makes sense.
Yeah, that
and it all makes sense.
On a small side topic, Alicia, one of the experiments we were talking about with the vampirism, I have more data for it.
Good, because remember, I'm going to be running the ESP project.
Yeah.
So we're going to recreate those.
Because I have met another one myself.
Cool.
Though recreate they are not active.
Recreate those live online. Wear your good shirt for that one.
One of them. I'm only wearing this because it's like I'm just been resting today.
No. I'm not saying your shirt isn't good, but I mean,
yeah,
wear your businessy shirt for the project files.
I don't know if I like my business shirts anymore.
But no, that's cool. Hell yeah. Let's give this a shot. Simone says she's up for it. We've been running, basically, to fill you guys in, we've been running experiments on a couple of different volunteers. Yes, they are volunteers. Yes, they know what they're getting into, to see what a psychic vampire can do to actually heal and fix them. Basically taking their own unhealthy, nasty, stagnant energy and filtering it and using it to heal. That way it's just one big circuit.
And with helping like unblock chakra, stuff like that.
Yep. So it's going to be interesting.
If I feed off of a block chakra or stagnant energy, it helps it refresh it.
It takes away the block.
May not be super pleasant for myself, but
Earl, you okay? You're like, I have a book for this.
I get it. That just brought to mind another book.
But just for that data, so you know how I had issues feeding off my boyfriend when he was wearing his evil eye.
Yeah.
I thought it was possible that it's like a subconscious thing because I believe they were kind of thing. Well, he was wearing the evil eye when near this other friend that's a vamp, and he was affected by them. So it shows that it is
it's
due to me believing it works, that it blocked me.
Hallie, you just muted your microphone. Speak into it.
I was talking to my daughter.
Oh, okay.
You're next.
Yeah. And this friend, like, kind of worries me sometimes because they're like, now that I know that they're a vamp, it's like, it's cool. It's nice to meet someone else like me, but they are aware of it, but not like using it actively. They're just being very passively high pull. And so I'm like, I'd like to be able to help somehow.
Ooh,
apparently I'm like a blocker though. By being like between them and someone, they can't feed on that person.
We're going to run some experiments.
Right.
I wish I could hook you up to some electrical device to actually prove this though. Hallie, Doc, do you have any like scanners or anything that you could recommend that I could hook up to him while he's doing this stuff? We could actually get empirical evidence.
I wonder if an aura machine would work.
We were talking about that before.
Aura.
I wonder if it would catch those pseudopods.
I guess I don't have that one.
Well, aura machines are a little expensive, but that's interesting. Another thing I wanted to mention, Hallie, Doc, Earl, would you be up for a topic on star children and star seeds? Would you be willing to come on for that discussion?
Yeah.
Okay,
Absolutely.
awesome. Because I definitely want to do a program on it. It's something that I know about. I grew up, Brad Steiger, the seed, star people, all that stuff.
Gods of Aquarius.
Yeah, but and then it got co-opted by Doreen Virtue, which irritated me, but she did make some good points. But my main issue with her is she didn't reference Steiger at all, which I think is kind of bunk. But it's something that people hear about in a soundbite, but it's not given its due justice that it needs to have. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I agree.
Okay. And I'd love to actually sit down and talk about it, or at least have you guys talk about it.
Sure. Be glad to.
Would you be willing to come on before the end of the month, or do you want to wait till next month?
We couldn't do it next week.
Yeah, we can't do it next week.
Okay.
Next month sometime, yeah.
Next month? Okay. Well, then I will just figure out which Thursday.
Unfortunately, I don't have that one. Okay.
Do you think you guys can
Any other than next.
What?
Yeah.
Anything other than next Thursday, because we have a fair we have to leave for on Thursday. So.
Okay. Talk between yourselves and then schedule a Thursday, and I will put it up on the charts.
Okay.
I'll put it up on the calendar because I'm really excited about this one. I know how knowledgeable you guys are about it, and I would love to have you talk about it. Earl, How much do you know about star seeds, and are you willing to chat about it?
I don't know a lot. That would be more along the lines of I'd have to turn the reins over to Ed for that one.
Who's Ed?
Ed Sott. He's the basically he's the creator of today's witch, and he's also he heads up the Pagan Rights Coalition.
You think you could get him on the same time as these guys?
Yeah.
Okay.
He knows more about that than what I do.
Hallie, Doc, if you know of anybody you'd like to bring on for that, if you can, go for it.
Okay.
Let me know, though, so I can actually advertise them. By the way, this episode is going to be up on Spotify in the morning.
Sounds good.
So, just so as you know, and I will send you guys the link to the Spotify. Now, with Spotify, you'll only hear the audio unless you download the app, and then you'll get video.
Oh, cool. So you can get
Gotcha.
about
Okay.
watching.
The one episode where we only had YouTube because Facebook apparently got hacked, we got a little crazy. Don't worry.
Yeah.
It's okay. Okay, so awesome. Kind of in closing, what advice do you give people in this community? I guess if you had five minutes to tell event organizers, shop owners, community leaders. Well, I don't even know if we have any. I know we have a couple good ones still, but they're hard to come by. What would you say? What would you say? What would you want to say? Because, I mean, there are a lot of fairs that are holding people out too for cliquishness. And that's another thing. Actually, I wanted to ask all three of you, what are your experiences with fairs being cliquish and kind of gatekeeping and stonewalling you out of stuff?
Well, they're definitely cliquish. There's no question about that. They're definitely cliquish. But again, I know Hallie does. I take the position. I'm there to do a job.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, let's first of all, I'm doing this for a living.
Yeah.
So I haven't got time to play games and all this high school stuff.
Yeah.
I'm there to do a job. I'm there to help other people, educate them, and if I can, help them move further on their spiritual path. And that's the position that I take. So I don't worry too much about the clips.
When it comes to talking with the people putting on the fairs and people organizing, I will flat out tell them that they must create a positive, welcoming environment.
Yeah.
Because if you don't, you will not have a good turnout. You will not have a successful show. Because the one thing you need to eliminate is the cliques. You need to eliminate that. Because you cannot have a clique trying to dictating things on how things are going to be.
By the way, Alicia, I do have a card from someone that was had a stall out during Pride. When I was talking about the fair at the shop, they were curious and about possibly colluding in the future.
Okay, you're gonna have to run that back because I think I heard something, but I'm not. What?
So someone that had a stall at the Pride.
Okay.
When I was talking about how I was headed to the fair afterwards, they were curious about it and they would wanted to know more because they would like to join maybe sometime.
Awesome. Well, that'd be great.
I have the card for you.
Yay! Thank you. I really appreciate it. All right, Hallie.
Yeah.
Experiences with fairs. And one more thing after this, I want to ask you guys, since you guys have been event promoters, the other event promoters out there that actually do have true intentions, and some shop owners, I can give my opinions later. How would you say they ward off the curses, the hexes, the shit talking, because apparently the shit talking now is so popular, it's actually sliding over people. It's literally painting a totally different image of people and causing businesses to fail. Like we don't have enough problems already. But anyway.
Right.
So Earl, Hallie, Doc. But Hallie, first, your experiences with the fair. The fairs, cliquishness, stonewalling especially. I'm curious to hear your views. If it's happened to you, I don't know.
Oh yeah, all of that's happened to me. Again, for me, I don't really bother me so much.
Speak a little bit closer to the mic.
Is that better?
A little bit, yeah. You're going to message me your address, and I'm going to send you a microphone. Okay.
Either you or me. See, I'm being stonewalled right now.
Aha, there we go. All right. There we go. Heard you now. Can you hear me now? Good.
Yeah, there we go. No, I mean, I've experienced all of it. And I mean, Dennis and I, we tried to do a fair in Springfield, and we know we got psychically booted right out of Springfield.
Jesus.
I mean, 100%. That's what happened to the fair. So, yeah, and as far as going to the people who run the fairs, so many of them, their egos are so big. There's no talking to them. There's no giving them any advice or anything. They think they know best, and that's how it's going to be. So.
True. And I mean, I know in some cases, they're running a business, so they are the one paying the bills, so they have to go with their own party line. But I've watched a lot of really uncomfortable things happen. I've had some happen to me, of course, but yeah, just crazy stuff. Stuff that is definitely not metaphysically aligned.
And
I will admit that there's one show in particular that I will not deal with. I won't have a part of it whatsoever. And that's just due to the fact that she would not cut a break to me being a media rep for the community whatsoever. So it's like, hell of you.
Okay. Doc, speak into the mic.
Keep in mind that every fair promoter has their pets. Regardless of their light, dark, who cares? They don't care. They're their pets, and they like them. They like them being in a fair, and their attitude is, if you don't like them, you don't have to be in my fair.
Yeah. As a business person, though, that's not going to make for a very good fair. That's not going to make for a good experience for anyone, and that's not going to lead to financial stability. Okay, so now, psychic attacks, hexing, between vendors, on fairs that you promote, on shops, cursing, all that stuff, and of course, snow jobs that seem to take on a life of their own.
The best person to bring in from that would be what's his name down in New Orleans?
Who?
One that runs Hex Fest. He's an expert on it because he goes through it every single year.
Really?
Yeah, he deals with that stuff every single year about hexes and curses, whatnot. And it's like the last episode that he went on a tangent about from this past one. I'm like, oh my God. It's like, really? It's like, go away.
Okay. Well, is there any way you can pull him on the show? Because it's Christian Day. I've tried reaching out to him, and he never responds to me. It's like, okay, whatever. Okay. I was gonna say, psychic attacks, things like that. Hallie, Doc, Earl. Have you dealt with it?
Mm-hmm. I've dealt with it.
What are your thoughts?
Oh yeah.
What do you do?
That's when I just flat out tell them, you don't like me? Too bad. Deal with it.
Well,
And-
and
I send all that stuff back to them and make them deal with it.
say again.
I send it all back to them, wrap it up in a nice little package, and I send it back to them.
Mm-hmm.
Good. Now, what happens when they don't stop after that? They won't stop. Okay, so all right.
That's when I've actually written a banishing spell.
A what?
I actually wrote a banishing spell once.
Okay.
I had it came down to the point where I had no other choice in the matter.
Yeah.
And it worked.
Okay.
It surprised me, but it worked. But that was, that was basically a last resort option. I would not ever suggest doing it. But for me, yeah, it was a situation that I had to deal with and be done with it.
Mm-hmm.
Huh. I can't read that.
Allie, can't hear you.
I know you can't hear me. There has been a time or two where I've had to puppet doll them.
Really?
Oh yeah. I was so sick and tired of them. I was like, you know what? I'm done.
Oh my God. Well, dang, guys. I was hoping it was better for you guys.
Well, and as I will admit that as of late, I have felt the attacks.
And that's something I was really surprised at. And I think Hallie, we spoke about this a while back, a couple fairs back. It's just getting so much more intense. The normal warding isn't working. And it's like, where are they getting all the juice from?
Well, that would be from all the bad energy, the negative energy, the extreme energy that the whole world is emanating. I mean, they are drawing so much power off these wars and famine and violence and rampant drug use that it's just, they have more than enough power to draw from.
Because you know what? That Occam's razor, simplest explanation. Thank you. It was right in front of me, Hallie. Thanks for pointing that out. Because, yeah, I've been wondering. Nicole and I constantly say, I don't have the time, energy, or money or resources to do all this stuff. Where are they getting it from? Right. Jesus, Doc, speaking to the mic, honey.
There are times when I feel that when we're being personally psychically attacked, what they're really trying to get at is just some of a higher vibration energy. If your vibration is higher than theirs, they want some of that energy. They're too lazy to work for it themselves to raise their own vibrations, so they got to steal it from somebody else. And that's what they do in the attack.
That's interesting. Thor, did you hear that?
What? Sorry, I was distracted by reading.
Doc, can you say that again, Thor? I want you to hear this.
Well, it's been my experience that when you're being personally attacked, many times it's because you have a much higher vibration than the person who's attacking you. And what they really want is some of your energy, simply because they're too damn lazy to do the work to grow physically up into the vibration that you're in.
also they just want to take it. They attack you because they expect you to do something back, and when you do it, you're giving them some of that high vibrational energy.
Kind of like with what happened with my first roundtable when we did the Reiki.
Interesting. That's an interesting perspective, Doc. I like that. Huh.
And with me, like you said, I have literally felt the attacks, and which I felt is very personal towards me.
Yeah.
And it even got to the point where it's like, I just said, screw it, I'm done. And I literally
nice timing, Thor.
So, I mean, I felt the personal attacks.
Yeah.
So I'm going to have to get going soon.
Actually, I was just going to ask you all, do you think we're cool to call it a night from here?
Yep, I think so.
I did want to answer some of Kira and Chippy's questions, though, real quick.
Hallie, Doc, why are you guys laughing?
Never mind. I'm not going to say it on it. No.
What?
Never mind. I'm not going to say it.
Earl just jumped on that way too fast.
Oh.
Well, it's about like I apply the same principle that I get when I'm in meetings. It's like, okay, people,
don't be the first one.
Up. It's like, motion to adjourn.
Yeah, when the buttocks go numb, it's time to adjourn.
Well, I do need to adjourn because I have my kid upstairs. Mom has to go to bed, so I got to watch him.
And I'm still recovering, so yeah.
Yeah. So,
but I did want to answer Fury and Hippie's questions real quick.
Okay.
Because it's about vampirism, wasn't what we were talking about at the moment. Because they had said that they, like, the ones that they had met were pretty bad people. A lot of those that are unaware or unawake, as it's called, they tend to be kind of negative people because they're creating energy to draw. By being dramatic to bring in the dramatic energy, stuff like that. And then with the different types of vamps, there is somewhat. So like there are some that they just have a higher energy metabolism. Others they have a leak. Others they just can't create energy from other things. Or for like me, I can't feed from like solar or fire energy or anything like that, like most humans can.
Well, most of the energy vamps that you do run into, psychic vamps, energy vamps, they are a real nasty set.
Yes.
A lot of them are unconscious, but that's why I was so excited about you exploring the positive attributes. And I think it's going to be great when you can train other vamps.
What I've met from other, like the House Capri, so far, it's been a really positive experience talking to them. So I wouldn't say that they're bad. I only have known them for been in their Discord for a month or two, so I can't for sure say it, but I'm getting the feeling that they're not bad.
Okay.
On the majority scale. So we're not all bad, and I'm not the only good one. I'm just one that's trying.
All right. Hallie, Doc, do you guys want to advertise your readings or anything? You want to let people know how to get a hold of you?
I don't do anything at home, so I'm good, but Doc probably will.
Yeah, they can reach me at Dennis, DOC, Cromwell, at gmail.com.
Okay. Now message that to me, and what I will do is I will put that in the description that goes on Spotify as well.
Okay, sounds good.
Awesome. Okay. Earl, how do they get in touch with you?
Okay, you can get in touch with me through Pagan Artist Spotlight business page or group, which I have on here on Facebook.
Okay.
And also National Pagan Network as well. That is my group as well.
message it all to me, and I will put it on the Spotify thing. That way people can get in touch with you. Thor, you're still figuring out what you're wanting to do as a reader, right?
Yeah, and like I right now, I like Simone and I are probably going to go forward with like working together with a lot of stuff, and also like if anyone wants to just talk to me, like it would probably be easiest if they talk to you and you direct me.
Just message Des Moines New Age Shop, and I'll put you in touch with Thor.
Yeah.
All right, y'all. Lots of love, Hallie. If you change your mind and decide you want to put your info out there, message it to me on Facebook, and I'll put it in. All right. Loves to you all, and get back to me on the Star Child episode. Okay. All right. Thanks, guys.
Have a good night, guys.
Bye. Oh, like and subscribe.